One more time. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our last episode of 2020. Woo! We survived the year.
It's still 2 more weeks. Just wait for it.
Still 2 more weeks. As for now, we survived this far. It's good. It's
Oh yeah, I take that.
yes.
That's a positive part. I'm trying to open. I want to open the video.
Yes. Cool. Let us know who's there watching. Hey, Katie's here.
Bam.
Nice to
Is this
see
always
you.
the first? I think so.
Okay, so
Mira, no. Yes.
today's topic is the body. A very wide topic of today. Every time I hear, and I made this joke with Estefanía 1,000 times now, every time I hear somebody talks about the body, I keep hearing this voice in my head. This voice in my head, the sketch from Mr. Bean. I don't know if anybody has seen this, but I laugh every time somebody says the body. So in case you haven't seen it, because it's just hilarious and has nothing to do with tap dance or whatever, but it's funny. So I want to show you just that second what I hear when people say the body. So here we go. So yes, I just love that, the body. That's what I hear every time somebody says the body. Okay.
I think it's the best entrance that we had in all these talks.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Has nothing to do with tap dance, but it's hilarious, and it's always on TV in Christmas. It's, you know, it's Christmas soon, so why not? Okay. So yeah.
That sets the
And
tone.
it's laughing.
That's it.
Of course. We just set the tone first.
Come on, we gotta laugh a bit of this. So, we decided to have this talk because we had all our instruments, we had the shoes, we had the floor, and now the body, the last part of our instrument. So that's why we figured that, you know, it's necessary to talk a bit about this. This is a bit more of a reflection conversation. So please be a part and talk about experiences, write in the comments, we will bring you up on the screen. Or other experiences that you had. Everybody is welcome to write their own thoughts and reflections over this topic, because it's a really wide topic and a lot to go through, and yeah, so we will just share our opinions, experiences, reflections regarding this topic. And of course the big giveaway, which will happen in the middle, which is going to be exciting. Ooh. Okay, so we decided to split the body topic into 2 different topics, main topics, which is, you know, the physical side of the body and the mental side of the body. So we will not go too deep into the physical side, because we recommend you to, whatever it is, to actually find a professional in, for instance, like physiotherapy or chiropractor or whatever problems or questions you have, to ask them directly. So we will not go too deep into that, but we will mention a couple of things to think about. Okay, you guys just jump in, I will just go. So
You're doing great.
okay. So a couple of things that we have been talking about that, you know, is kind of obvious, but we will still say it. So number 1 is, you know, take care by eating well. Eating well can be so many different things. We all react different to different things. So if you're unsure about these things, actually contact, it's professional people who will help you with this if you really want to get into that topic. But everybody knows that, for instance, you know, you cannot live only on cakes. We wish, but we cannot. So what? Estefanía, you do? Only cakes?
Yeah, no. Like, I'm not a sweet person.
No,
All right.
I
Yeah,
love sweets.
prefer- We know that.
You know, because I bake cookies all the time. I made so much Christmas cookies now. Okay.
I'm bringing my cookies. Like, really. Just saying.
Okay, so that's one thing, that's one topic. And there's nutritionists that you can ask, specialists that you can ask about these things if you want to go into that. Other than that, you know, like it's never bad for the body to actually have physical workouts. And especially these times where it's so easy to stay inside because of the pandemic and everything, you know, get some fresh air and have alternative workouts. Because right now, not all of us has the possibility to, if you have an apartment above somebody or stuff like this, you can maybe not tap dance. So it's important to move your body in whatever way is good for you. Some people are made to be runners, other people's not. So find a way to just, you know, have alternative workouts to keep your body active and healthy. And then I wrote as a comment, treat yourself once in a while. We're tap dancers. We bang our feet all the time. We deserve a good foot massage from time to time. So this is my recommendation of like a Christmas treat to yourself. Get a massage. We deserve it. Come on.
Let's start now. Okay.
Yeah, we really bang our feet. I mean, treat yourself in whatever way is nice and works for you. Take a spa, take a massage. You know, pamper yourself. We deserve it. I think so. And let me see. So, all of these things, you know, you have a lot of professionals who specialize in this. You even have physiotherapists who specialize in dancers or stuff like this. I bet that everybody has some names to drop within their country. If not, ask somebody who knows, you know? If you're a dancer and you've been in the game for a long time, you know people who's good at this. Just ask, it's no problem. So when that's said, it's very easy to find online now a lot of things. Don't assume that they know what they're talking about. Okay, so be a bit careful what you look for online, because there might be, you know, some alternative workouts that says you should do this and this, and maybe they don't know what they're talking about. So do some extra research. If you find an online program, do some extra research and make sure that, you know, they know what they're talking about. So that's my list of what is important to think about when it comes to the physical things, like directly related to your body, to keep it up and going and healthy. Anything to add to that, guys?
I'll say like it's connected to the last thing you said, like because everybody has a different body, not everything works for everybody. So that's why you need to check and not maybe on a group or like a personal. I don't know.
Connection.
No, just like asking and having this feedback with your like daily routine and what are you doing. It's really different if you go I don't know, for example, to a gym and they're doing like a group or like a lot of people doing an exercise. Maybe that thing is not working for you. If it's soft, it will keep you moving, but if you want to really make sure you are on the thing that you need to do, ask like personal trainer, nutritionist, whatever. Like, don't assume you have the same body as other people in your room, in their room, whatever. Ta-da!
Anything, Andrew?
Not necessarily anything to add. I think the idea that everybody's got their own journey to find, I definitely agree that whatever you find online, double check. And there's always, at least in my experience, there's research that's being done in terms of what's most beneficial for an active body. I like looking at kind of what elite athletes are doing as a model, because they're the ones who are trying to find out like the most precise thing, and so if you can get access to that information and then figure out how to apply it on whatever it is that you're doing, or find somebody who's adopting those protocols, then that's been beneficial for me.
I've been in contact with this kind of thing and just adding they're not dancers and not tap dancers.
But like for instance here we have a couple of the b-boys who actually been accepted into the what's it called in English? We have like a center for all the sports, the top sports people in Norway, where they work out and can get help and all these kind of things. And we have a couple of b-boys who's been accepted to work out there and be like, you know, representative of the top sports people in Norway. So it's about time, I would say, you know, that actually ballet and b-boys and, you know, different forms of dance actually is included in that part, because you are performing physically on a very high level. So I think it's interesting.
Scratches the surface of like, is dance sport, is dance art debate, like very, very quickly. Which is, I mean, that's a worthwhile one to dive into.
But of course, I mean, we have a completely way of training than football players, for instance, you know. So we have to find our own way, but it's interesting, this mental approach they have to different kind of things. It's very interesting. So I don't actually have anything else to say about the physical part here, because it's very individual, very individual. We will a bit later in the conversation talk about, you know, experiences with injuries and stuff like this, but that's more, you know, individual approach and experiences. So I made a couple of things, I noted down a couple of things I wanted to say about how to mentally work with yourself in this period. And I just want to say something first so you guys know where it's coming from. I did a bachelor degree a couple of years ago in psychology, which was health and social psychology. So the things I'm about to say, it's not an answer at all. It comes from some experiences, some research, and also a reflection of just overall my opinions in a way, based on that research and experience. Okay, so what I will say is just, you know, a wide reflection. Feel free to jump in, guys, when I say the different things. So I need to check my notes. I made good notes here.
I don't have glasses. Shoot.
So, and here, guys, I will encourage you to, you know, write your own thoughts about this. Okay, we would love to hear from you guys, because this is so individual, and it's really nice to hear your thoughts and your experiences on different things. No?
They're quiet.
It's very quiet. They're listening. Okay. It's good.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay.
So, okay. First of all, why are we all doing this? It's because we have a passion or a love for this craft, right? This can get foggy sometimes. You can lose track of why you're doing this, or, you know, all of this has to do with like motivation. So ask yourself, why are you doing this? And if you can't find a positive answer, I suggest that you actually do some reflection about this. Like, at what level are you doing this? Why did you start with this? What made you fall in love with this? Like, remind yourself of why are you doing this? And here's the thing, like, we cannot always feel happy or motivated even. Sometimes, maybe you don't feel like going to class, and it's okay. We are humans, all of us are humans. It's not physically possible to feel happy all the time. That's just a fact. So when you accept that this is okay, that you're not happy all the time, and maybe you don't find motivation all the time, then you need to find a way of actually seeing the positive overall picture. So then we see these people, this is my frustration, because I'm like that. Sometimes it's just I'm not motivated. I feel like staying on the couch and watching a movie that doesn't have anything to do with tap dance at all. And then you see these people who you see are like so motivated and into the craft 100%, and they're really like Superman when it comes to tap dance. Like, where do they find this? Like, their whole life is about tap dance or whatever else they're doing, right? It doesn't have to be tap dance, but you see that their whole life is around this. Like, they have this incredible motivation. And that's just the fact that we are all different, and it's nothing wrong with that. Some people are just born like that they're so into what they do, and that's what they do. Other people can be exceptionally good at what they do without being that kind of person. So we're all very different, and it's okay. That's a great thing. And some people choose this to be their full-time job. Other people choose it to have it as a hobby, and other people has it as a part-time job. And it doesn't mean that you cannot become really good even if it's your hobby. You can be exceptionally good even if it's your hobby. It's all, how you work with things and what your motivation is and where you want to go. You can put a goal to where you want to go. So if you're...
Estefania's got comments. I see it.
Huh? Where are comments? Where are the comments?
In your facial expressions.
Yeah?
Oh! Because I'm not agreeing that, I'm not agreeing like people is 100% on this. It's social media, it's a face. They have lives. I think they're showing this thing that you can trust. It's like, oh, I'm 100% in this thing. I don't trust it.
You don't believe it?
Just, no, I don't believe it. No. I think it's
it could be like a made-up thing through social media. I mean, you only see what is on Facebook, right?
Yes, but they're not like all the time on Facebook, so
I met people who are so deep into it. Doesn't have to be tap dance, but I met people who are so deep into what they do that they cannot talk about anything else. If you talk to them or what they do, that just reflects their whole life. So some people are like that.
I think also it's like stages in life.
Maybe, yeah.
And maybe in 1 or 2 years they will balance this thing. But sometimes, like, we remember when we started, like, we had this, like, there was something like pulling us to do this the whole time. But it's not natural. Like, you need to do all different things. That's why I'm not trusting people like this. I can trust, like, maybe in some point in life they're doing this, but not always.
But that's exactly my next point. My next point is that you need you need balance in life, right?
Yes.
No matter what you do, you need balance in life. And that's what I was going to say. Like, reflect over these things and find something that can balance things a bit out, because you have to remember to breathe and live. It doesn't, doing something else next to what you love doesn't mean that you love this thing less. It doesn't mean that. And maybe doing something else can get you some experience that you can use for what you love. And I mean, I'm always all over the place. I love so many things. And one of the few things I always stuck to was tap dance. But I tried so many things, both study-wise and dance-wise. And I love learning new things. But I always try to find something that I can use in tap dance, because that's like what's closest to my heart. But this is very different from people to people, but I bet 100% that whatever you do next to tap dance, you can learn something. It's always something to learn in different things. So, just relax, breathe, and life always needs balance somehow. So,
The whole talk.
Okay. So, yeah. So I want to also touch a different topic when it comes to mental health, and that's, how to stay healthy is not just about these physical things that we said. I've seen, especially maybe in the dance field, that it's very easy to have destructive thoughts because you always want to be better. And now I'm talking more of on maybe a professional level, or a student that wants to become a professional, and they're kind of ruining things for themselves because they have destructive thoughts instead of actually maybe what's it called in English? Like constructive criticism. So I just want to, that I want to remind you that, when it comes to critique or criticism, it's up to you what you want to listen to and what you want to take in. It doesn't have to. Some people say things because they literally want to push you down. Other people say things because they want to push you up. But it's up to you at the end of the day to choose what you listen to and how it affects you. That's up to you personally. So if you get a comment from a teacher, you can either take it a very negative way or you can take it a very positive way. But that's how you want to improve. It has to do with you, not necessarily the teacher. But of course, some people make mean comments. That's just how it is. So how can we kind of block this out? That's hard. I mean, I bet.
Share. Yeah, when we talk about comments, like I'm always sharing the same quote. I don't know the pronunciation. Socrates, or Socrates.
Socrates.
Oh, that's different. Socrates in Spanish. They say like when somebody tells you something or comment to you, you need to do three filters. One.
Can you repeat that?
Why?
Because the internet got.
Not working. Oh.
One more time.
Socrates, like when somebody's telling you something or a comment or giving you feedback, you need to put these words into three kind of filters. It's good for me. I need that, and why they're saying to you this. So once you filter these three things, like the information that you get, it's narrow, it's better for you, like, and you're choosing, not the other one that is putting the words to you.
Mm-hmm. And like me personally, when people say something to me, I always try to focus on what I can learn from this and how can I improve by what they said. If they say something negative, I just try not to let it affect me. I mean, of course, everybody gets sad once in a while because certain words hurt. That's human, and we all react differently. But really, like, tell yourself that this has nothing to do with, nothing to do with you as a person. This has to do with that person who made maybe a bad comment, not you. And that's a way of, at least for me, that works like, okay, filter this out. This is not you, this is them. So, what I wanted to say is, like, the dancers, you know, we always want to be better at what we do. And this kind of thought, it's a very fine limit of where it's destructive for yourself. Because if you always keep telling yourself you're not good enough, then maybe you can improve this much, but you will never be actually as good as maybe you can be, because you're pushing yourself down. So it's also here, it has to do with like finding a balance about how to see things, how to think about things, and how to work. And we're doing a profession that has a lot of different sides. We're not just performing as a top sport person, as Andrew mentioned. Like, we're not measuring the exact height of a jump. That's not what we're doing here. We have the emotional side of what we're portraying on stage, how we express ourselves as an artist. It's so many sides about what we do. And I think that's also the great, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day if you cannot do a 5-count riff on one, or 5-count wing on one foot or whatever, you know? Then you do something else.
Wait, it doesn't? It doesn't matter?
That was my goal. Okay, if that's your goal, then go for it. I mean, I really wish I could do like a backflip and a split and up to a wing or whatever, but I just can't, and I accept that. Then I do something else. I think that's the great about tap dancing, that, you know, we have so many sides that we can always improve somehow. If it's performance, if it's technique, you know, we can always work on things. So if you see that, then you can also reach really high levels. So what I would say is that, you know, be realistic and conscious of how your body works and what kind of body you have. Is a reason why the Nicholas brothers did all these flips and splits, and they had a body made for that. Of course they trained a lot, but they had a physical body that suited for that.
Wait, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Go ahead. Ooh, ooh.
Teacher.
What has your journey been like in becoming aware of what your body is made to do? Like what has that been like for, I don't know, for either of you?
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So
I was lucky.
Yes.
I don't know how I did it, but yeah, it worked.
this for me has been a process. I've been dancing since I was a kid. I set out to be like a professional jazz dancer or stuff like this. I just stumbled upon tap dance by accident when I was 15. But I always kept this passion of other dance styles. Then, yeah, let's see. Good question. I had really good teachers. When I was in high school, I had really good teachers who were especially good at this. And to, you know, encourage you to find the right way of thinking, find the right way to interpret criticism, because criticism can be really good if you know how to interpret in a good way, know how to adapt to that comment. But it's not something that's made overnight. And then also, of course, I have a special interest in these things. That's why I studied psychology, because I'm really curious. Or actually, I started because I was really curious of how, what you call them, like serial killers think. That's why I got into it. And then I was like, all of these things are very interesting, how the human brain works on different levels. So yeah, yes. But for sure, I mean, like for instance, I had a period where I was a lot more heavy, and I didn't appreciate my body because it didn't work the way I wanted it to. When I was taking ballet class or jazz class or whatever, I was very self-conscious. And here's the funny thing, I really focused hard on losing weight, training correctly, all these things to get where I wanted, and it didn't work. And then one day, I just stopped caring, and I lost a lot of weight. I'm not saying that that's gonna happen for everybody, but that's my experience of it. I just accepted that, okay, I am the way I am, I'm just gonna continue dancing and doing what I love. And then suddenly, I lost the weight that I wanted, and I mean, I was 20 kilos heavier, so I was a lot bigger. So, like, my experience has been a bit of a fight at certain times, and then I just settled that this is how it is. Yeah. Estefanía?
I forgot the question. Oh, I was like, was the? It was the journey on learning about your own body. Like that was the question. Sort of. I think I learned more about the body once I started teaching. Like once something it's easy for you, you suddenly check it's like, oh, it's not easy for everybody. Then why we still have like 2 legs and 2 arms, blah blah blah. But it's different. So when I'm talking and teaching about the relaxed technique, for example, it's not easy for everybody, and you can check how they're moving and how they're trying to deal with this. And I'm always saying to them, like, if you learn and you're aware how your body is, like the shape of it, you will feel more connected to specific dancers, and maybe you will feel more attracted to specific dancers because it's easier for you because they're like kind of the same. So if you're tall, maybe if you check Sam Weber, maybe it's easier for you. And one of the thing that happened the other day in rehearsal with the company.
One more time, the last sentence.
Oh. We've been rehearsing last week with the company, and a term that is really easy for me, and it's like kind of fast. Mateo is one of my dancers. He's double than me in every way. So he was struggling, like, I'm not turning that fast. Yeah, we're different. So I cannot explain to him how to turn in that specific moment because he needs to put the body in a different kind of movement to get this. Maybe this kind of examples is more clear.
Yeah, I have an example of that. A lot of dance styles like ballroom and salsa and all these things, the man doesn't understand how it is to actually dance on heels until they actually try it. How the whole balance of the body shifts and stuff like this. And you can really see which man who actually understands this, that they actually tried it to get an understanding of how your body works in different settings. So I think that's a very good example that, because he's so big compared to you, I don't know, sorry, I did my job. But I mean, it is different. Every single body works very differently. Like some people are made to do spins and they can spin like, oh my God, and other people can barely do one. We are different. And that's okay, right?
I think for me, was teaching. What about you?
I'm trying to think now. I think there was a time where I was never an athletic kid. So when kids would in the US when I was growing up, they used to do tests in gym class in school, and so you had to do like run the mile, do sit-ups, do pull-ups, and I could never pass those tests. So there was, but I could dance. So there was this interesting it felt like two opposite things happening where my body is not athletic, but I can do this one activity really well. And over a number of years, through my teenage years, my body changed a lot, and I started feeling like I could start doing things that I had only thought about, or the way, like the amount of effort that it took to do a wing or a trench. All of a sudden, I had a different. Yeah, I literally had a completely different body. So I think that shift for me brought the awareness of, oh, this is a thing, and then like, well, how does this thing that I have that has changed actually function? And the dancing was the feedback loop. You know, since I'd been doing it so long, if I did the same thing over and over and over again, as my body was changing, it would feel different. And so then I go back and be like, oh, okay, well, if I help strengthen this area of my body, or if I do this other activity and my body adapts to that, how does that affect my dancing? And so it's kind of like there was this process of like, if I do this over here, what happens over here? Because I don't know, the idea that you mentioned earlier, Iselin, about cross training or having other activities was a big part of I think my process of understanding how my body worked.
Yeah. I think this is just how I see it now. I think you're a good example of you actually those kind of people who find something that they like doing and becomes really good at it. It doesn't mean that you have to be good at everything, but you find that niche that really works and you like doing it, and because you like doing it, also you become really good at it.
Thank you. Like, I love what I do. There's a part of me, and this goes back to the very start of dancing. People say, "Oh, you started so young. Like you fell in love." I'm like, no. I just wanted to be good at it. Like if I was gonna do it, then I wanted to be good. I didn't want to do something just for the sake of doing it. And I think there's a particular kind of individual joy, like just for me, when I put my hand to something and whatever comes out of it I think is good, then I feel happy. Then there's a sense of joy that comes from that activity. If I work on something and what comes out of it I don't think is good, there's less joy there. You know, and if I say, all right, I did this thing and it was okay.
But this is a very good point. Like if you don't like what you're doing, how are you going to become better at it, right?
It's a lot more difficult, I think. There are a lot of people out there who are in gigs or doing jobs that they don't like. And there are plenty of them that do good work in those jobs. And I know that's a hard path. Like that's not an easy thing to do.
But do you think that, you know, those people that you talk about now, what if they like what they're doing? How much, you know, more amazing could they be? What do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I recognize that it's a very wonderful gift to be able to land in a spot where you can get paid for doing something that you love.
We are blessed in that field.
Yeah.
So I've written down a couple of, you know, just suggestions of mentally tools. Like, how can you do things like this by yourself, just to kind of feel better? So a lot of people like daily affirmations. Like they write down something positive every day. And it can be about what you love, it can be about yourself, it can be about the day that you had, just as a reminder of positive things in your life. This works for a lot of people, and other people don't care. So it's very individual. Also, for other people, I see great dancers who really study themselves. Like every time they do something, especially now that we can film, they sit and watch the film 50 times and study themselves. They found what they like and they find what they want to improve. But that's the important thing. Like if you do that, then don't push yourself down, only finding negative things. You have to find a balance there, but studying yourself will always help you improve somehow. If I don't like watching things of myself at all. So I'm not one of those. I'm just telling. So here's something that me personally I love, and I already said this. expand your knowledge and views on what you like. I can sit and watch a full concert of something that has nothing to do with tap dance at all, not even jazz, nothing. It can be something very different. Or going to ballet classes, or studying psychology, or whatever it is. I just like expanding my views because I know I'll always learn something. And like in these times, the reason why we started the Tap Talk was because me and Estefanía wanted to give our students something in the beginning when we couldn't go to the studio. It became a lockdown in March, and we were like, what to do, because not everybody is happy doing a class at home, or not everybody has the space. What can we do? Let's give them some history. That's where we started. So, you know, it's a lot of things that is connected to what we do that you can study. You can study music, you can learn to play an instrument, you can study history.
Lights, sound, whatever.
What?
Lights and sound.
Lights and sound is a whole world of bikes and all these kind of crazy things. It's so many things that you can study to include in your craft. So I have a questions for all of you guys that are listening. Estefanía, you had a better formulation of the question. What did you say to me? Because I wrote it a bit messy. The question
I said something?
Yeah, because you didn't understand my question. Do you have, like, how did you?
The last one.
Yes.
Wait, I was already.
Yeah.
Because I forgot.
I wrote it too complicated, so Estefanía will read it in a better way.
Where is that? How you increase or grow your knowledge, because we couldn't go to practice.
Yeah.
Like how to be related to the craft without dancing.
Yeah. What did you do when it got a lockdown wherever you are, or during the pandemic when you couldn't go to the studio? What did you do? That's a question for all you guys. So if you have an answer, tell us. We want to hear. Okay? I'm interested in, like, what did you do? Nothing, or watching tap movies, or, you know, whatever. So write to us. I'm interested.
They're sleeping? Nobody's talking.
I know, they're very quiet. Okay, while you guys write the questions, I will say, because Estefanía said this, I will say, it's always good to talk to somebody, okay? It can be a professional, it can be a therapist, or it can be a friend. Just don't stay alone. And now we have all these great digital things with even video and all. But, you know, reach out and talk to a friend. It can be about tap dance, it can be about life. It is always healthy to talk to somebody. So that's my last comment about mental tools to make your day a little better. Yeah. So nobody did anything during the lockdown?
We started talks.
We started the talks. We did. And it's been an amazing journey, an amazing travel, and we did a lot of topics and a lot of information, and my brain is still like overfried from some of the talks. But yeah.
I can say something. I was reading, but not related to that, for example, and can give you opening to other topics that maybe you didn't thought about them, and you can put them inside of your craft. What I was doing also, sewing. How you call that?
Coser. Oh, sewing. No. Sewing.
Yeah.
Sewing.
Sewing. Yeah. Sewing.
Sewing.
Just for relax, just like disconnect. Sewing. Okay. Just in case. I start
yes. Shout out to Melody for doing this.
Oh, the live.
Yeah, it was amazing. Andrew was host once, and it's been a lot of great people there. So if you don't know this, check it out. Find London Tap Jam on the Instagram, and there is all your information.
Last week, no, the last jam with your money. I think it was last week.
Let's see, we have more here. This is good. Okay, so Mirela says that watching, listening to all the online talks, interviews, classes that popped up. It's been a lot. We have Tea and Tap in London. We have Shuffle Life started almost. We don't have the same name, but it's like he also calls it Tap Talk something. I don't remember. Which is a podcast. And of course, we had the London Tap Jam live. It's a lot of things happening out there.
We had a series. Heather Cornell has a series now.
Yeah, Chicago. You did a lot too. Oh wow! Like I think everybody. There was like a lot of festivals suddenly becoming online. I also, because during like a regular teaching and everything like this, I'm not having like the time to read on Tab 2, and I was like, oh, now, ta-da! Like,
yes,
that's this kind of things. More.
Yes.
Musical theory.
Bought a book about musical theory, still reading it. YouTube tutorials, not so much tap, but solo jazz. That's nice. Different experiences. Let's see. Dermis.
Oh wow, Dermis.
Yes, this has, I mean, look at us. We're in Barcelona and New Jersey, are you now? Yes.
Yep.
And Oslo. I mean, not just that, but you suddenly find people that you didn't find before because you actually start scrolling and looking and, you know, here's a video of that and here's a, it's amazing how you kind of gotten into all of these digital things, and I've discovered so much new things. It's almost flooded. Yes, I will show because this is nice comments. I totally agree. It's been so fun to, you know,
Why mine is like
see people so passionate about this. What did you say, Estefanía?
Mine is so ugly. I don't know why.
Try to put your fingers together.
I like to.
But then it only looks nice for yourself, you know. You gotta show it nice to the camera.
We have a heart making tutorial. We should post the time code when we do this on YouTube. Just in the description.
Thank you. Send it to me.
So the tea on tap, yes. That too, yeah, I saw that too. It's very cool.
But yeah, that's all about tab. Like nobody did like anything extra out of tab. Just asking.
Well, Anna said that she bought a musical theory book.
And she did solo jazz tutorials.
Solo jazz tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
1 of 7.
I mean, I did a lot of like music studies.
Oh.
Like completely different things, especially Latin jazz. I tried to expand things. And roller skating, I love that.
Yeah, Melody.
That's amazing.
Inside the apartment? How?
But then, okay.
Wait, there's a question. Is it inline or is it the quads? Like, how old school are you?
No, but the thing is like inside of the apartment? In the lockdown? How? How you do it?
You turn a lot. Just go around.
But does this mean that, you know, maybe we're getting back the shows with the tap and roller skates?
Oh, she's practicing.
Man, if you're in quads, yeah, you know, you can start doing tricks and all sorts of stuff.
What is a salto?
Yeah, I was wondering the same.
What's a what?
A salto?
Elena? What you were doing? We need to be scared.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't.
Oh,
In the park, yeah. Cool.
Huh.
nice.
Did you figure out what a salto is?
No.
No. Okay, we're waiting in excitement of what it is.
I'm scared. I don't want to ask right now.
Oh yeah. I can get that one though. I wanted to buy a trombone, but my wife was not as enthusiastic. Well,
Yeah. I think we found this problem to practice depending which thing at home that it's not a thing.
I haven't put on roller skates since I was maybe 10 or something, 12 maybe. Still, I don't think it will be very well to. Oh, this is cool.
Oh!
West African instrument, sort of a shaker.
Wow!
Cool.
Italian glasses.
Nice, nice.
I did a master workshop in English. Ta-da!
Hey.
No, it was a joke. Sorry. It's just because Ruiz talks. So,
Italian classes. That is cool. I was really good at Spanish classes through the summer, and then when work started in August, I forgot everything.
I brought it.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah, there's some instruments that are definitely challenging if you're in a small space.
Oh yeah.
stop dancing.
Well,
Yeah.
I found a board in London that I brought to the apartment, but we had a store under us, and after I did one class and I got really complaints, so
I put the shoes for 1 second, in my apartment, and the neighbor in front, like crossing the street in front, like told me like, "What's going on in the neighborhood?" They go, "Oh wow." It was not next to me, like crossing the street. So no.
at least now we can go to the studio.
Saxophone.
I envy those people
Yeah.
who live like, in their own house out from the city and can do whatever they want. That's, no noise, nothing. I mean, my husband is a multi-instrumentalist, so our whole apartment is literally congas, timbales, piano, everything, and it takes up so much space. And if he plays, oh my God, the neighbors, I'm so sorry.
Timbales, man.
I know. I always say when I play with like Latin musicians that I have a love-hate relationship, because I cannot say that I hate them because that's his main instrument, but it's not compatible with tap dancers at all. It's like the worst.
It's different.
Yes.
Funny. Yeah,
Okay.
timbales. They're like the frontline instrument in front of horns, or 13 horns, like whatever the big band was. Gosh, yeah, that's loud.
It's really loud, especially when they play the cascara on the sides. It's like you won't hear one single tap. It's
Well, there's no more space for anything to get hit.
nope. But it's really cool rhythm patterns that is amazing to study. Like there's some timbale solos in certain songs that it will just blow your mind. Okay, I will put this up, Kate.
Gosh.
I don't care about my neighbors since they don't care about us, and play shitty music as loud as if the speaker was right next to your ear. Oh, I feel so bad.
I hope
for
your
you.
neighbors don't ever see this video.
I hope you try to influence them with like some
That would
really
be
nice music. Maybe there's no
Yeah,
hope for
right.
them.
Play like the softest, smoothest track as loud as you can.
Yes. Okay, so before we do the giveaway, should we, or maybe we should do the giveaway now, actually. We're like halfway.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Da-da-da. Okay, so
No
what are we
top
doing?
Okay, so we decided that since it's Christmas, we want to give away a couple of more things. So we will, before we draw the shoes, we will draw 2 other pigs, which is like comfort prizes, and we will tell you what you will win. Okay.
Ta-da! Jingle bell.
Wait, we're
jingle.
not going to tell them?
Yeah, we will tell them, but you draw first.
Oh, okay. Oh, I go first. Okay.
Yes.
Doo-doo.
Kate!
Yay!
So, Kate, you will get a class with Estefanía. Right?
Ta-da!
How does it work, Estefanía? You tell me.
But Casey, she's in my classes, so she will need to pay less. That's
Okay. So, okay.
There you go.
Perfect.
For her.
That's nice. Cool.
All right. What's next?
It's should I say it? What's next?
Yeah, say it.
It's a bag, okay? A tote
All
bag.
right.
Yay!
Oh!
So yes, so Anna, you will get a bag from Barcelona, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yes.
You.
Woohoo! Nice, a nice shoe bag, or I call it shoe bags because I use it for my shoe. Tote bag. Okay, now comes the shoes.
Wow!
Oh,
It's in front.
let's go in the shoes.
It's shoes? That's
It's
it?
shoes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow!
Agata! Congratulations with a new pair of Ruben Sanchez shoes.
Wow, congrats.
Nice.
Where's she from?
Ooh-ah.
The name looked Polish. No? Am
I think so.
Yes.
think it's
Is they got the here?
I'm not sure.
Kate is here. Like she answered.
Yeah, Anna is here. She answered.
And we are waiting for Agatha. Like, if she's not here, okay.
Yes, she's here. And I was correct. Boom. Woo. Nice. Congratulations, Agatha. We will contact all 3 of you later on how to do things. A little Christmas present. Awesome. Okay. So, next part, I will want to ask Estefanía something. The comments come in a bit late for us. That's why we're like. A big thing that has to do with the body is injuries. And Estefanía, you had quite a bad injury. Do you want to tell a bit about your story?
Okay. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to.
I don't want to share.
No.
No.
That's not why we're here. Not to share at all.
But I think it's one of the most common in tap dancing. But most of them, if we're not banging the floor and doing like Jansen, all these kind of things, you will not realize you have this thing. It's about meniscus. I think for sure is that if I say meniscus, like a lot of people will like, the thing is like I have a tear, it's not broken at all. But I didn't do that thing. I was walking. I just fell. So when they ask you, tap dancing is bad for the body, I think everything is bad for the body if you go to the extreme. So I think. So yes, I did. I felt. I think maybe it's 2 years ago right now, and so the process is really this thing. It's not totally broken, so I can dance, but I cannot bend my knee totally and put the weight on. And I think the most important thing that it's to share is like how you approach this thing mentally, because you're blaming yourself all the time. Like if I didn't went to the mountain and it fell, it's like don't go there. It's like it is. It's like this. How you fix, how you deal, how you live with it. So there's always options. So I went to this more athletic doctors, not athletic, like for athletes. I think I said right. So this guy was working with a football player, and because the life of like a professional life of a football player is like maybe until 30, they told me like, oh, we just do the surgery and for 2 years and then you're done. Okay, I plan to have this professional life maybe until I die. So that's not a thing. That's why I mentioned when we're talking about this athlete things that we need to reach, I was not, because they don't work in specific things, like because the professional life is like more shorter than us.
Yeah, because that's very special with us.
Sport, for sure.
What with that?
It depends on the trainer and the sport, for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
But like here in the States, if you were to have a particular injury, a lot of protocols will take you to surgery, even if you don't have to immediately, just because that's the protocol that most people adopt or most people have in place. And so searching for the protocol that fits what your goals are and what your actual injury is really important.
But that's also, what Estefanía mentioned is that we are blessed with the fact that we can actually choose ourselves how long the career can be. Like, it's not like you have to retire at 40 as ballet dancers does. You see amazing tap dancers at the age of 80. It's amazing. So if you find a way to adapt with your body through the age, then you can do this as long as you want to.
Yep. So I went to different doctors and they told me like, if you are healthy, like if you do this kind of things, you'll be like, your professional life will be better. No longer, just better. So, ta-da! In fact, I'm here. Like, I have a performance in 2 hours. Ta-da! I can dance. It's fine. Sometimes it's hurting. It's like, okay, but it's what it is. I'm checking if the injury is getting bigger or not. But at least the mental part that is blaming yourself and getting like really in dark places. I think it's a process. You need to go there, but finally you find this place like, okay, I need to understand what I need to do with this and just keep going.
You find a way to adapt.
Yeah, and I found like some other friends dancing, once they got the injuries, like, I don't want to change what I'm doing. It's not changing. Like, you can keep doing the things you're doing, but it will be a little bit different. But it's not an excuse to stop or. And funny fact, if somebody saw the show that I did, that I'm doing a lot of floor work, that was one of my concerns. Like, if I cannot bend the knee, how I would do all the floor work? And I'm bending the right leg, not the left. Ta-da! Like, somebody checked the videos, like, wait. It's in one of the sides, but I can still do floor work and do the things that I love.
That's amazing. I'll tell a little story, because my husband, he had a really bad injury, like almost 2 years ago now. And I mean really bad, like 10, 12 broken ribs, shoulder out of its socket, knee out of its socket, punctured lung, like everything. And the doctors said, because he's a professional dancer, he's known worldwide as a mambo dancer and has a, really, really great. And the doctor said to him, after all the scans and blah, 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 that you're lucky you survived, you will never be able to dance again. And he, after 1 year, he did a solo performance. So, because for him, it was no option. He wanted to dance. He found a way to adjust, to do these things. Of course, he feels that the body is different, but there was no option of stop dancing, as the doctor said. And that's the great thing, like if you really love this, you will find a way to adjust. Because your mind just tells you that I cannot stop, I want to do this. It might take a lot of work, a lot of time, but you see tap dancers with one leg.
Did you watch the documentary with Quincy Jones? Like, you know the story?
I didn't watch it.
No, I think just watch it. I think it's related to this, and it's what you do once you are not able to continue with this. Like really, like a strong thing that is like, if you do that, you will die. Like literally. And how far he arrived. Still being connected with music. Maybe not playing the instrument, but how far he achieved.
But did you, for instance, have like not epiphany, but like a moment where you realized that there's no option of quitting? You just want to do this and find a way to adapt?
Yeah, it's not option. It was not an option.
It was just from the beginning?
Never crossed my mind. I remember, and also I was with a friend that is the doctor that is going with me through the process, and he was like kind of joking and watching like the test, like, oh, you have the meniscus broken. It's a joke. No, it's not. Okay, so he was doing, we call it Diva, this thing. It's a kind of a machine that is giving you like really like hot frequencies to the knee. And he was always saying like, if it's too hot, just let me know. And I was like, my mind like exploded in that moment, and he burned my knee because I didn't realize I was not connecting with my body. I was like this. But in that moment, I didn't thought about quitting. Never. I think never came this thing to my mind. It was like, just like how I fix that, like what I need to do, but not changing that.
Because this is a big part. Like if you have an injury, what people maybe not realize is that it's not just a physical recovery. Like you have to mentally fight this, and it might be good with some help there. Like seek out a therapist that can help you actually. Like if you want to do this, then build up, like, because it's a fear of, is this ruining your career? Is this ruining the thing that you love so much? It's a serious fear, right? So
and
get help.
Also share it and talk with people. When I suddenly start sharing this, like, okay, I get this. Suddenly a lot of partners like, I have it too, and me too, and me too, and me too. Like I perform that, you keep dancing. Wow. So also sharing and not feeling alone in the process. It's a thing.
It's a very legit thing that I've experienced over my career, that dancers don't talk about their injuries, because at least in the States, people talk, and so if you have a particular injury, it's less likely for you to land a particular gig if there's a risk of you not being able to come through on it. So there's an industrial thing that says you have to be at 100% or full on able to do everything that's asked of you as a dancer. And so whatever self-care you're doing, whatever you're going through, nobody else needs to know about that. Especially people in the industry, because you never know who they're going to talk to. So if you're in a situation like that and you don't have people that you can talk to, find someone, and maybe be careful about who you share with if that's a concern, because it's a real thing. It's a real thing. There are lots of organizations that are trying to talk about that, but
like, is it still a thing? It's working like this? Still?
I don't know how much. I haven't been in that space for a very long time, but I would say, I don't know, at least 10 years ago.
All right.
From 20 to 10 years ago, that was definitely a thing. I mean, not for anything, but like there are certain dance companies that will give you a physical before they hire you, because you're going to be under contract. You are an investment, and that's like at a particular level of engagement in the business. That's kind of what it is. So, and that's for people who are coming in from the tap dance side. I think we hit that, at least for me, I hit that idea late. I was like, oh really? That's something that happens?
This is
wow,
concerning.
Okay. Well, it doesn't only happen in the dance world. Like, this is something that I learned. It happens in the business world. It happens in other places where, right, if health problems come up in your interview, on the job, like whatever it is, there's a concern of from either from the boss, from the board, from like whoever it is, whether maybe not first, but like hopefully there's a concern for your well-being. That should be there. But there's also a concern for your ability to come through on whatever it is that your responsibilities are. And there are mechanisms. One of them is people just don't talk about anything because they're afraid of what repercussions are. And so that's an industrial ethic that exists. And I wanted to share that just so that, because it's something I recently realized was like, it's all over the place, right? Yes. It's not just in the dance world. And so if you are in a situation where that fear is there, make sure you have people outside of like the industrial circle that you can talk to and confide in, and know that it's in confidence.
It's a bit sad to hear that, this is kind of a fear, though, that you're not going to be able to talk about it. Not just that you fear for your career, but you also have to fear, that the industry is going to work against you if something happens. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, the industrial ethic is not kind.
But it's been a bigger focus the last 10 years with this World Mental Health Day and World Health Day on these kind of things. At least here in Scandinavia, it's quite a big focus on mental health.
Yeah, I think it's the same in the States. There's definitely been more conversation around it, and there are now, I've seen a little bit, and again, I'm not necessarily in that space completely, but there are organizations who are trying to quote unquote humanize the workplace, right? They're trying to make wherever you work less like less mechanistic, less like a human is a machine and you just do this thing and you run for the 8 hours and we feed you for 1 hour over lunch because that's when we need to put fuel in your body and then you just keep going. Less like that, and I think more understanding that a human is not a machine. And that's only, the idea that a human is not a machine only really came up, I think, once we had a lot of machines. Because then we're like, oh, the machine can do this, and then why can't the human catch up to it? Like, we're different.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we live in. Like, the context that we're in is that. And it's important for us to recognize that that's the context that we're in, because we'll take stuff like that on without knowing it. It's like a fish doesn't know that it's wet because it's always in water.
I think he knows. No.
Well, maybe he jumped out. He's like, oh, nice. And then he shot back.
Now I know what.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of hear that that's also like a fear, It's a bit disturbing.
In every, like, you mentioned the career span of a ballet dancer or a sports athlete. Those numbers over the years have increased as the maintenance or the care behind how to keep people in shape longer has changed. So, whereas, I think it was like a professional ballerina, some of them would be out by 26, 27, 28 years old. And now it's like 35. And you're like, wow, a whole other 7 years. But that's a whole other 7 years. And then you look at someone like LeBron James, who I think is in his late 30s or something, going on 40, and people are saying, well, he's still at the top of his game, and that would not have, that's kind of an anomaly in that sport, for someone to be able to maintain that level of execution at that level of play for that long.
But this also has a connection with our living standards. Like, I mean, before you were seen as living long when you were 60, 70, and that has changed. Right? Now you live long if you live till 100.
Right.
So everything about humans and the way we're living has changed, and especially our health.
Yep, that's the thing.
So, I've gone through the points of my list.
I'm the only one broken? What happened? You don't have injuries?
I had an injury, but I'm not sure if it's very relatable because I was a kid, so... Okay, keep time. Yeah, sure.
I mean, go.
Okay, so before I understood that you kind of have to warm up to do certain things when I was a kid, we were doing a show and I was supposed to jump down in splits. I didn't warm up and my hamstring just... So, yeah. So I still feel it today. It feels like a scar inside, but I can still do the splits, so I'm not crying.
The splits?
I can still do the splits, not in these pants because they're way too tight, but I can still do the splits.
Oh, wow! I can't!
So, I mean, it was really, really painful for a really long time. That's what I have to say. But I got back, and thankfully, I was a kid when it happened, which means that the muscle has much more flexibility to actually regenerate. If that would happen now, I don't think it would have gone that smoothly. So yeah.
one thing.
Other than that, I keep walking into closets and tripping on the streets and stuff like this. Estefanía has seen my summer with scars and bleeding and keep asking me, what did you walk into today? I'm very clumsy. Yeah. So that's the thing. But I didn't get any major injuries from that. Just scars and bruises. Andrew.
Yeah, I think the one pain, and I never got it checked out, so I don't know what it is. But I used to do for a couple of years when I was touring with Savion in tie-dye. This was early 2000s. Part of the initial repertoire of that company was a piece to the jazz tune "Rockin' in Rhythm," and it was like an homage to the more like the dancers of the 20s and 30s, that kind of thing. And so we had Marshall Davis and I had two features in the piece that they were set. It wasn't improvised. We were doing spins and splits, and Nicholas Brothers splits. So pop down, pop up, and we had to do that for maybe like a year and a half. I think that piece stayed in the rep, and I had never done splits before. I had never been that flexible before, so I went from I have no idea if I can do this to yeah, we're gonna do this in I think 3 months was the prep, and then didn't really know how to maintain that level of flexibility and the strength that you need to balance it out over the following year and a half. So so we lobbied Savion to not have that piece in the repertoire anymore. We're like, can we not do splits, please? Because it doesn't feel good anymore. But yeah, those are very, very challenging on the hips and knees. If you're not prepared and not safe. There's actually like legit technique for the Nicholas Brothers splits, which helps prevent injuries, but it's really hard to maintain. You need to practice that a lot. Leroy Myers told me once. Oh no, who was it? Leroy Myers? No, LaVon Robinson. He said the Nicholas Brothers were responsible for a lot of dancers not being able to dance anymore because in the 1930s, I guess, when the Nicholas Brothers became really, really famous in Hollywood, all the nightclubs around the country wanted Nicholas Brothers-like acts. So all these dancers who may or may not have been prepared to do that were like, well, if I'm going to work, I have to do this. And so they would press their bodies into the kind of acrobatics and just the kind of acrobatics that the Nicholas Brothers were amazing at. And at least according to LaVon, like a number of injuries came out of that. So, be careful.
Yeah. That kind of states my point earlier that, we don't have all bodies like the Nicholas Brothers.
No, we don't.
It's not made for everybody.
No, and you can adapt into a lot of things. You can adapt into performing something, and you can also adapt into injuring yourself. Like the idea of repetitive stress is very, very real. But yeah,
a very important thing here is to listen to your body, right? Mm-hmm. That's very important. If something hurts, then figure out why it hurts and where it hurts and take charge of it. You're in control. So don't just think that probably go away, So that's my tip. Listen.
Yeah. It's important. Also, there's a lot of people that listening too much.
That has pain everywhere, you
They have a
mean?
goal, and it's like, no, I cannot. And it's just like, okay. I was cut, no?
Sorry,
Again?
no, I said that the people who's like always painful somewhere, no? That's what you mean?
Yeah, like students like, I cannot then, like, that hurts. And I'm like, wait, what? So, like, they're listening to my balancing, which is the real alarm that the body's sending you.
Yeah. But this has
Just
a lot
like
to
that.
do with upbringing also. Like, okay, I will share an experience that I've seen now because of the pandemic. I teach a lot of kids. And what has happened that it came a lockdown and the kids were not at school, not playing roughly, all these kind of things. And they come back and I never had so much complaints. I mean, really small kids teaching Just Dance. I never had so much complaints. And this is really interesting. Like, why is it so? Is it, maybe they're not used to hurting themselves as much as they normally do, and then you get complaints from it? I don't know. I feel it's very interesting to see this kind of shift. Take some time to get back to, getting used to actually being physical again. I don't know.
I think this pandemic brought like a lot of concerns about the body because of the stuff. Like there's people like friends that they really stopped dancing and they got bigger.
Yeah, I
For
mean, it's a
example.
serious word. People are saying corona body. It
Oh.
came like in Norway. They did like top 10 new words of the year, and it was on the list. Corona body, which means that you gain weight because it was corona. So that's a serious thing too.
Yeah, and I think all the things we mentioned about how to take care when you're not able to move and like not go outside. And also check this thing with professionals, not try to do some weird stuff at home. I think I just want to mention that just in case.
And remember that the body and the mind is connected, and one cannot work without the other. So take care of both, especially in this pandemic. I would say it's been a much bigger focus now on that, actually how this affects you, that we have to stay home much more, not being social in the same way, not doing the same things as going to tap classes and stuff like this. It has a serious effect, and just take care of yourself, okay, on both instruments here. Reach out, talk to us.
Ta-da!
Yes. Well, Andrew, you had an announcement today, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah. So this will be, unfortunately, this will be my last tap talk as a regular attendee. It's been awesome. I've had a blast. It's been a great thing to be able to spend time here and get to know you both better and meet everybody who's been listening. And yeah, things are changing. Just different projects, and sometimes you have to say no to things to say yes to things. So I'll be happy to come back for a thing whenever you guys call. But as a regular, I've had to say no to this to say yes to some other things. So
Thank you so much for being a part of this, and we feel really blessed for you to share all your thoughts and ideas and all these things with us. It's been great. We had many laughs, and I want to say that me and Estefanía, we're gonna continue with the tap talk in some kind of format, maybe some small changes and things like this. After a long break, we will have a Christmas break, eat cookies, and not Estefanía, that's just me. Christmas food, sleep, rest. Hope that 2021 will be a bit better, but for sure it would be nice to have you back as a pop-up.
Yep.
It's been
Love-
really
love
Yeah. A big pleasure to have you here. It has. So thank you so much, Andrew.
My pleasure.
So, I don't know.
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué? Why?
Ooh, I was trying to answer. No, I will not say this here. Maybe there's some questions or something.
Yeah,
like,
anything that you guys... We have to wait a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
We're just like waiting.
Wait, I think it's here. Yeah, it's here.
Hey!
But I can say also thank you to everybody who's been with us through... This is what, the 14th episode? We had 14 episodes.
You said that, no?
Wow.
That's on average more than once a month. So thank you guys for joining us and sharing your thoughts and opinions and distance virtual hugs and everything. It's been a real pleasure, and we are looking forward to a new season with... we haven't discussed exactly how we're going to do it, but new guests and new topics. And if you have any wishes, send them to us during Christmas.
Maybe
So,
we'll not answer during Christmas, but
No, but we will collect them, and when we slept enough, we will answer.
You will get a Facebook autoresponder for any note that you send in. But send them in. It's cool. We'll read them later.
Estefanía is like, I need a break. I need to sleep.
I can, sure.
Yes.
Like automatic answer. Like I'll be back. I'll be back.
Oh,
Yes,
man.
we will be back after a well-deserved Christmas break. So please
Christmas break
stay
plus.
safe, people, and enjoy your time wherever you are and with the people that you have around. And eat well and dance a bit and listen to Christmas songs and watch Home Alone. I don't know what you do. Just relax and enjoy, and let's say that we're happy that it's going to be a new year.
Every lockdown? Magic!
A lot of people is in lockdown this Christmas, and we feel you guys, and if anything, you know, holla
you
out.
can write.
Yes.
I can answer, but
So I don't know if it's anything more to say than Merry Christmas, and enjoy your Merry
Happy
lockdown.
New Year. Merry lockdown. I
Merry
don't really like this. Lockdown.
Somebody is like, no. Yeah. Yes? Okay. Then I will say bye, and thank you guys for watching. Stay safe. Bye.